fight alone will make us rich beyond our wildest dreams.
You got to stop the sale of a nuclear bomb? Are you going to send in someone who looks like Santa Claus's fucking wife? Or are you going to send in the Disenfranchised podcast? That podcast all about those franchises of one, those films that fancy themselves full-fledged franchises before falling flat on their face after the first film. I'm your host, Stephen Foxworthy, here looking like someone's homophobic aunt. And joining me, as always, the only man who could rock the facial hair as good as Jason Statham, it's Tucker. Good morning, Tucker.
Hello, Stephen.
How are we
How's
doing
it going?
today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. I have coffee, and what could be better?
I'm also coffeeing.
Kind of a necessity for these odd morning records, which this is the second one we've had in a week, which is
consecutive.
Right, wild for us.
I haven't been fucked up on a Disenfranchised recording in like 3 weeks.
I know, and it shows, frankly.
I think it's kind of a compliment, but also maybe a little bit of a dig.
I mean, I would say why not both? But Tucker, we're not alone because we have one of the greats. I have it on good authority that this man is immune to 179 different kinds of poison. I'll leave it to him to tell you how. But from Spectre Cinema Club, the Tainted Love podcast, and the Pod the Pendulum, please welcome back Mr. DeVaughn Taylor. DeVaughn, great to see you again.
Hello. Woke myself up. I had to use some defibrillators on myself to get here, and that 180th thing that I am not immune to is tequila, unfortunately. So
nothing kills him. Nothing.
Except for tequila will to kill ya. So I think that would work on Ford, actually.
Probably.
I love that some of the things that he talks about are things that he absolutely did as his character in Crank.
No, I was like going through. I was like, when he started that little rant, I was like, is he just talking about the movie Crank? Like,
yeah, right. Is Dwight Yoakam going to show up at some point? What's going on?
I would not have put it past Feig to write that shit into this. Feig is like a big fan of Statham, and so he wrote this character specifically for Statham to play.
Oh, I can tell.
Yeah, and this is particularly after hearing about all the drama on the sets of the Fast and Furious movies with The Rock and Vin Diesel. It's good to see Statham able to like playfully dig at the persona that he's basically cultivated over the past decade. Like it's a really good thing to see, honestly.
Yes, I am not quite yet, but I'm on becoming a Statham expert. That is my side quest of this year. I remember seeing the Working Man trailer, and I was so inspired that I said I'm gonna watch all of his movies this year. Because Statham, he's always been like my action guy. Like he's not quite in the S tier, as far as like Schwarzenegger, Stallone, people like that. Honestly, I'd put him above Willis. I know Willis gets a lot of clout for the Die Hard movies. I'd even put Statham above Willis, but he's not quite to the heavy hitters. But he's pretty high up though. Like he's like above Seagal and Van Damme, who I kind of compare him to style wise. If I had to like put him in a certain grouping of action guys. So far of his 52 credits, I am through 26. So I'm halfway through. Nice. Officially, this is my halfway point, or this was 27 actually. So so this is me going past the halfway mark on my year of the Stath.
Right on. Getting you over the hump. And what movie are we talking about today, DeVaughn? We haven't talked about it yet.
We are, because it's just summer of action, Mission Impossible, but it's also the 10th anniversary of One Spy, 2015, directed by Paul Feig. The other one, Paul Feig, not Feige, Feig. And
they're secretly related. They just changed one letter. So
of course, Paul's just like, oh, I'm gonna just say my last name fancy, so that way we can distinguish each other.
Just be Estevez instead of Sheen, you guys. I'm saying
Feige's things feels like an Ellis Island thing. Like they were brothers, and we're like, well, we can't have two of you here, so you're Feig and you're Feige. Just get out of here.
And off the top, fuck this movie in the fact that good movie, but fuck this movie. One of my biggest pet peeves in film is one word movie titles. You know how hard it is to
Mm.
fucking Google specific things about this movie? Spy 2015. Jason Statham, Melissa McCarthy, movie. Like, you have to
Right.
put all the things to finally get to fucking the
Earth.
shit.
The
Like-
Milky Way galaxy.
Like, come on. Like, god damn it. Like, get specific with your movie titles. I don't get it.
Dude,
It's
yeah.
like the studios think it's easier, but you're making it harder on yourself. You're making the SEO worse by making it a simpler title.
And I love that you're saying this while you're sitting in front of posters for Longlegs and The Lighthouse.
And
adore that
Climax
so
is
much.
the other one, too.
There you go.
Like,
Just perfect. The
blank.
irony
The
just
blank.
dripping right now. I love it so much. Yes, we were talking about 2015 Spy, written and directed by Paul Feig, starring Melissa McCarthy, Jason Statham, Rose Byrne, Jude Law, Miranda Hart, Bobby Cannavale, Allison Janney, Peter Serafinovich, Marina Baccarin, Bjorn Gustafsson, Richard Brake, 50 Cent, William Lee, Zach Woods, Sam Richardson, Ben Falcone, and even a little director cameo from Paul Feig himself as an uncredited drunken guest.
He's
At a
the guy who
hotel.
hits the wall and falls down, right?
Yes.
I thought that was him. He's
Yeah.
got that. He's got really great hair. Like gray looks good on that dude. Like I want
does.
gray hair like him.
Totally.
Looks so
sure.
good.
For sure.
And like not in the way like Clooney or Anderson Cooper has. It's something just completely his own. It almost sparkles. It's beautiful.
just a gorgeous little coif on that guy.
Yes.
And he's always usually whenever he's interviewed, he's always in the suit, like the 3-piece suit.
Oh, he wears that like permanently. Like when you look at behind the scenes of him directing, he is always in a full on ass suit.
Him and Sam Raimi, the
loves
two
his
guys
suits.
that direct in suits.
Hey, I'm
Well, I
a
think
fan of
Raimi-
that. That's a lost art form that was dropped in the NFL. Like football coaches used to coach in suits. None of them do anymore, and I miss that.
It's all windbreakers.
Yeah. Okay, windbreakers are cool.
Sleeveless hoodies.
But like now it's all like the boring 3/4 zips and stuff like that. I'm like, what are y'all
Oh,
wearing?
yeah.
Like, get fun out here. Like, you know.
Yeah, right. I think that Raimi started doing it because of Hitchcock. He wanted to be like Hitchcock. I know Hitchcock always wore a suit.
For Raimi,
And
I think there's also an element of like everyone's showing up, everyone's working hard. I'm like sitting in a chair and just yelling at people.
Yeah.
I should probably like honor what they're doing in
I
my
like that.
appearance. So
Plus, I would say, like, yeah, it kind of demands a little more. I don't want to say respect, but attention when everybody's, in their work clothes and you're in a really nice suit.
Yeah, I like that.
It kind of shows that you're the guy. You're the guy.
You're the guy. Yeah. Nolan,
And then-
another famous director that wears suits.
He's a suit guy. He's a skinny
Garrett-
tie guy too.
Yeah, Garrett met him at the Burbank Theater, and he said he was in a T-shirt. I was like, what?
Nolan in a t-shirt.
He met
feels
Nolan in a
sacrilegious.
T-shirt. Like that's
Like,
crazy.
I feel like only family and close friends should see that.
That's like
Yeah,
a limited
like-
edition trading card. Like
Yeah,
T-shirt
right.
Nolan.
Nolan in a t-shirt.
tell me he got a picture of Nolan in the t-shirt.
He did. I can't remember. I don't think he did because I think he respected it too much.
You know what?
Was it just and it was just a white V-neck with pit stains, right?
that if it had a grease stain on, if it was Nolan with a grease stain on his shirt, that would have been
perfect.
incredible. Because not to brag, obviously when you live in LA, you do meet lots of celebrities. So like,
Yeah.
I'm not a picture taker, but if he had a grease stain on his shirt, I would have 100% taken a picture.
That's
for sure.
and that's why we respect you, DeVaughn. So many other reasons, but that has just become number one. What is DeVaughn? What is your? So obviously we picked this because you're in your year of Statham right now. What is your history? Let's pivot. We'll get to plenty of Statham talk eventually, but I want to pivot to like Feig, McCarthy, because they're kind of the 1-2 punch of this movie initially in terms of the names, the big names. What is your history with Paul Feig movies? What of his stuff have you seen, if any? And what is your history with Melissa McCarthy?
I kind of like, I remember, I think I avoided this movie when it first came out because this was my first time watching. This was a brand new one. I think I avoided watching because I did have the fatigue of Melissa McCarthy after Bridesmaids, and even though she only did The Heat and then this afterwards, but it was like once she was there, it felt like she was just like everywhere as far as just like, appearing on things and TV shows and all, what have you.
She rose very fast was just everywhere insanely quickly, like oddly, I thought.
Yeah, so I was kind of like, I was like, it was kind of a lot. I was never, didn't watch like any of her like TV shows or anything. So yeah, so I think I avoided this just because I was just like, okay, like Bridesmaid was great, guys, but like, let's chill out. And so kind of same way for Paul Feig as well. But I love A Simple Favor, big fan of that film. So after that, I was like, oh, okay, I like what this guy's putting down. Haven't watched the sequel yet. But yeah, like Melissa McCarthy, just like I felt the burnout that I was just like, fuck. I was like, she's just everywhere, couldn't escape. But I really enjoyed her in this though. I think she's really great. She looks really great. She's really cute in this. I was like, okay, Melissa McCarthy, go on, girl. And she's very fun. And I think even though I watched the unrated version, which is 10 more minutes of the actors
10 more
improving.
minutes?
I know, right? Like it's already I was like, geez, this is a hefty
in a
movie.
Paul Feig movie, you want more minutes?
Well, I did it
for that.
I mean, if it's an option, I always watch the unrated just for like, for the extra F-bombs because I'm a child. And you can totally feel it too. Like there's certain scenes where you're just like, oh, he's really just letting him riff right now, and he just like kept it in. So like that's mainly what that extra 10 minutes is.
That's
and
the Paul Feig way.
And you kind of feel it. You kind of feel it. I had to fast forward like multiple scenes because I was just like, oh, they're gonna do this for a minute or two, and they do a few times, like really just like go for a sec. So it's like, which isn't, obviously, like, I mean, I'm a comedy guy. I like to laugh, but this style of comedy isn't always for me as far as like the just like million jokes per minute type comedy. Like that's not, for me, especially when it's kind of the same one. Like I wish I would have taken count of how many you're like a blank that's like blank. You're like a blank that looks like this. And it's like, okay, how many metaphor or simile fucking jokes do we need to do in this movie?
That's the Judd Apatow, you know how I know you're gay, like extended riffing all throughout. Like, was it the 40-year-old virgin or was it?
Sorry, I was trying not to laugh at that, but it is really funny, despite the homophobia. It's very funny.
I mean that was like an extended riff between. I think it was between Seth Rogen and Paul
Rudd.
Rudd.
Just never stop. They just keep. That's the hilarity of it. Is they just keep going even after neither of them has anything else. They're just reaching, and the desperation of the reaching is what gives that scene humor for me, at least.
But I will agree with you, DeVaughn. That's one of the biggest black spots for Paul Feig for me. I generally like his movies, but it's just his like I don't know. Let's just see where this goes, and then keeping it all in the movie without like isolating like the 2 or 3 standout bits. He just lets it kind of keep going, and you get lost in it. Like even in the regular cut of this movie, this was a first time watch for me as well. And I'm just like kind of languishing in some of those moments where you can tell he's just letting them go on just a little too long. And it's the thing that I think hurts most Feig movies. It's not the first Feig movie we've covered. We also covered the 2016 Ghostbusters movie on this podcast as well. So,
which I think is, I would say that and Bridesmaids of the Paul Feig movies that I've seen are the two that suffer from that the most. Now this movie, it's there, but it wasn't so bad. And the same with The Heat, which I also really enjoyed.
I thought The Heat was pretty fun.
I like this more than The Heat. I think this works a little bit better for me. I'd say the success rate of me chuckling throughout the film is about like is more positive than negative for sure. So it's like, I think it mainly works. It's just like there's certain scenes where you're just like, all right, like I get like, all right, like it was again, like it will be like those jokes too that's like not even like ooh, that really killed me and now we're gonna keep this going. It's like, okay, I chuckled the first time and now the second time I'm already over the joke. So it's like they kind of do that a lot.
100%. And again, that seems to be Feig's like his thing for whatever reason. Tucker, what's your history with Spy and the Feig McCarthy pairing?
Well, I saw this movie when it came out. I did not see it at the movie theater. I think because I didn't have a chance to. I think I probably would have went to it if I had the chance. Because this is kind of everything in this is pretty much for me. So I've been a fan of Jason Statham since Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Of course.
I've been a fan of Paul Feig since he was working with Judd Apatow on things like Freaks and Geeks and Undeclared.
Right.
And even though I do have my issues with specifically his editing style,
Ooh, yes.
I still do. We are like, we're still pals. I'm still into it. If Paul Feig does a movie, I'm interested to see it. And I know that there is a chance that it's just going to be a lot of jokes that go on way too long.
Right.
But I'll tell you, when he hits, he hits.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, stuff like The Heat and stuff like this movie are, I think it's the best stuff that he's done. It doesn't suffer as much as his other work from being too long and jokes going on too long. Also Jude Law. I've always been a fan of Jude Law too, because he's one of those interesting paradoxes where he's a character actor trapped in a leading man's body.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Him,
And so
Brad Pitt, those guys in that
Absolutely.
category for sure.
And I'm always interested to watch guys like that, especially in comedies where they're playing the straight man. And in this, he has some funny lines, but he is essentially a straight man in this.
For most of the movie, I'd agree.
Yes. And I think I really love his character in this. Though the biggest problem with this movie, because I think this is a good movie. I think this is a really good movie. Like, I have a lot of fun watching it, but it's just so forgettable. As soon as it's over, and I saw it when it came out. That's why when I watched it this time, I'm like, oh, this is all brand new to me. Even though I've seen it before. It's all brand. I don't remember any of this. Like, I remember all these people being in this movie. Don't remember any of it. I
would
had a
agree
great
with
time.
you.
I laughed, but it's just as soon as it was over.
That's like sometimes the issue with parody movies, or not parody. I mean, I don't know if I call this a parody, but like this is like, whatever. But you have those type of movies and you are so familiar with the beats, and that's part of the conceit of the movie. It's like what the how these spy movies go,
Right.
and so it's like so when it's on top of that, it does kind of add to like the, oh yeah, no, I totally don't remember or like anything from this, because it also blends into all the other spy movies you've seen, successfully. So it's doing what it is going out to do.
Absolutely.
But maybe I guess it's not. This is like kind of because this is a good movie, but it is kind of like a slightly commodified Austin Powers. Like Austin Powers, you remember, because even though it does parody all the Bond and spy movies, it stands very firmly on its own. Versus this, I think it like gets just muddled into all the other spy movies you've seen.
Right. Austin Powers is doing something very specific. Like they're referencing something very broad, but they're doing it in a very specific way. Whereas this is referencing something broadly as they possibly can, which I think it plays on that. I would actually agree with Tucker on every point except for the Statham of it all. Like that's the stuff that I find myself remembering are his, big hyper specific rants about all the shit that he's done. And how like she's not an agent, like all of that shit sticks with me. And I come away from this going, that was a fun movie. Statham's incredible. Is really my takeaway from this.
I remember that was what was kind of talked about the most whenever this first came out, was people going, "Oh my god, I didn't know Jason Statham was so funny." And
Had
which
they not seen his Guy Ritchie movies? He's hilarious in Lock, Stock. He's
right.
hilarious in Snatch.
Yeah. Right. But I remember like this was around that time because again, like because now as I've been going through his films and like tracking his filmography, like the early 2010s is like really when he settled into his B movie kind of action guy, but also like like this is around the time he also starts to become in on his own, aware of himself, so like this movie did kind of come at the perfect time when that this was, kind of where people kind of knew him from. And so him like being able to take the piss out of it again led me to believe he was in this movie more. Unfortunately, he is like really, again, in this 2-hour 10-minute movie that I watched, at least the unrated version, he's in at probably 15 minutes of the movie,
Right.
which
Oh,
is
he
a
looks great
bummer.
looks great with hair though, and that mustache, the hair and the mustache. Ooh,
Oh my god,
looks fantastic.
I watched this movie Parker not too long ago, and he dresses up. He opens the movie doing a heist dressed as a preacher with white hair and glasses. It is such a funny
Nice.
look, but it also
That's
works.
the
I was like,
Yes.
he looks so funny anytime he puts a wig on, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm like, he's doing it because again, he just has that that power to him.
Now, if you've actually seen any, because he got his start as a swimmer, I think. Like if you go back and see like some of his swimming videos, he's got his natural hairs before he like it was receding, but before he went fully bald, because he's been bald since Lockstock, pretty much. Like he's not had hair pretty much his entire career.
Oh yeah. Early in his career, he was like trying to keep like a little bit more buzz, and then over time, like I love how he does the perfect length to stubble combo, like his classic. I don't know how he's kept that consistency his entire life. It's actually pretty impressive. But
just one blade setting for everything, I guess.
Yeah. That's an electric razor for the entire thing and wait a day.
Yeah.
And you get a Jason Statham.
Basically.
Everything growing back at the same rate. It's great.
I think we were talking about how, at least for me, this movie is very, very forgettable as much as I enjoyed it. I do think that that's where it would have benefited from a sequel. Because I think if this had gotten a sequel, number one, I would have seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, 100%. And I think it would have made the first one stick out a little more.
They should have did a sequel where it's Statham and Jude Law like fighting for her affections. Like that literally would have been such a fun sequel, like Spy vs. Spy over Melissa McCarthy.
And
would have been super fun.
We could get more 50 Cent and her tall agent friend. Get some more of them. I love those two together. I just want a whole spinoff of those two, like at home.
100%. That was amazing. I like that, like Bridget Jones meets a spy movie, like for the series.
Yes.
That would have worked so well. You're right, 100%.
I mean, I guess that's that movie, This Is War, with Gerard Butler, Chris Pine, and is that Katherine Heigl that they're fighting over? No, not Katherine Heigl. They're fighting over somebody.
I never saw that, but I wanted to.
Tom Hardy versus Chris Pine, not Gerard Butler.
Yeah, the trailer to that looked fantastic, and I was very excited to see it. But
it's actually really good.
It is good. I will see it
From
because
it was pretty good.
Everything that I heard was that it was just really, really bad, and it just kind of turned me off to it. But now that I have a positive reaction to it, I definitely want to see it because that trailer looked fantastic. I want to see I love Tom Hardy. I'd love to see him do more silly stuff, and it seemed like kind of a silly movie. So into it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like underrated comedians too, in this, I always say Rose Byrne is one of the funniest actresses that does not get her love for how funny she is. Even though the accent she's doing is silly, she still has such great timing. The way she delivers lines, like her in Neighbors, is one of my favorite like comedic performances by an actress. Like she's so fucking funny in that. So anytime like I get to see Rose Byrne like really getting to flex her comedy chops, like she is so fucking funny.
She is. I agree with you about Neighbors. Like her performance in Neighbors is just incredible. In a movie full of great comedic performances, she manages to stand out really well.
She has a line in this movie, and we're talking about the main lady, the bad guy lady, right? We're talking about her, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She has a line in this movie that should upset and offend me, but instead I did a spit take and almost choked on my drink.
I know exactly which line you're talking
funny.
About. Yeah.
It's just out of the blue, and I was like, oh, I almost choked and died. It was really, really funny. I was like, I should be upset about that, but I'm not, and it's actually the best joke in the movie.
Well, there you go. Yeah, you're absolutely right, DeVaughn. She's got such killer timing. just absolutely able to play with the best of them. And I think if comedies still got made with any kind of consistency anymore, she
Well,
would be one of our finest comedians. As it stands, unfortunately, Hollywood just doesn't know what to do with comedians anymore.
well,
Yeah.
you know what we do? We get her and Chloe Fineman in the same movie as like mother daughter or cousin or something because they look exactly alike. You
They
put them
do.
in the same clothes and the same wig, and you wouldn't be able to tell the two apart.
That's well observed. Yes.
I think that would be a good pairing, a comedy duo where you wouldn't be able to tell which was which.
Right. But I mean, so few comedies get made anymore, and particularly female centric ones, that there's only like a handful of comedians that people tend to go to. And I don't think Byrne is tragically a big enough name yet to really be able to contend for a lot of those, which is sad because she's really, really good.
That's sad.
Yeah, which is crazy to say that she's not big enough, but like she's also been around for like for a while.
Exactly.
Didn't realize her and Bobby Cannavale are married, or not married, but they're partners. Didn't
Oh my
realize
God.
that. Yeah, since 2012. So while they were making this movie, they were together.
That's amazing. I love Bobby Cannavale. I think he is phenomenal.
Bobby.
I think he is so good in this. Like he again, not given a lot to do, but really makes the most out of the
Him coming in
opportunities
at the
he is given.
end, I was like, oh man, I was like, when he came in at the end, I was like, okay, I thought I saw his name in the credits, but then I was like, where has he been this whole movie?
He's playing around at the beginning a little bit, but like the focus shifts off of him so quickly. And in this movie again, so forgettable, you almost don't recognize that he's been in the movie to begin with. And then they pivot hard back to him. But then I'm like motivations, because it's like, oh, he's working with Raina, but then oh, he's not. And it's like, so I was confused as to what his role in this thing was until those final scenes at the end.
Yeah, this cast is very large. It's just like there's a really large cast, and it's like there's so many names you want to like give people things to do, but then it's like, you know, the fact that like Richard Brake just comes in to get shot in the head at the end of the movie,
Right.
like what? Like, you know, you got him, and that's what you do with him. But you know, you can only do so much, I guess. Like I mean, shout out Allison Janney, also fucking hilarious in this. Her like just the whole sequence of her dogging on Cooper about the pink eye is so fucking funny. God, not right over the phone.
I loved everybody in the basement, which is what they call like where all the people in your ear sit. Like everyone in there is like a really great comedian, and they try to give them like little moments, but it all boils down to there's bats in here. But like the one girl sitting at her
There's a
computer,
mouse on my tits.
that's exactly what I was about to call out. Just the cat, just the way that line just gets tossed off is so comedically perfect.
She's just letting you know. She's not complaining or upset. She's just letting you know that that's what's happening.
There is a
Just
mouse.
keeping you could say keeping you abreast of the situation.
There it is. There it is. We did it, everybody.
Yes.
But you also have like Sam Richardson just kind of in the background for a lot of this movie, like really great comedian from Werewolves Within, from I Think You Should Leave, Detroiters, like really funny guy, but just not given anything to do in the background there. And that's, again, you're casting this movie with a lot of great up and coming comedic talent, and then not really giving them anything to do and just kind of casting them so that they can riff and stuff you're going to end up cutting from the movie to begin with. So
Not in the unrated cut.
apparently not.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, again, I was just like, if it's there, I always go for it, you know. And I did not need to for this one. You know, Paul Feig, nobody's clamoring for his director's cut on things.
I watched the
that's
director's cut of Ghostbusters, and there are like whole plot points that are cut out of that movie. Like Elizabeth Perkins is in the movie, is in the extended cut, does not show up in the theatrical cut at all. The brother-in-law from Weeds is in there as well as like the dean of the college, not actually in the theatrical cut at all. It's just really weird, the stuff that he like chooses to leave in and take out.
I wonder, I mean, obviously I've only seen the one version, so I can't really compare the two to like really figure out which scenes like I extended or anything. But there's one scene that I feel like either A was like one of the like extended things that they like kept in, or B, they just like missed cutting this guy's face. But there's a moment where Rose Byrne delivers a line to Nancy when it's like and they're standing there with her and the other guy, Anton, the like Swedish
Love
bodyguard,
Anton.
and then and she's like, yeah, she's one of our best. She's really good at things. And Rose Byrne's like, what, like getting things out of cabinets? And Anton, he was about to break so hard, and he just had this giant smile on his face when he was about to break. And I was like, oh, this had to have been just an extra riff take, because he almost lost it. It's so
That's
funny.
amazing. Yeah, that is such a great line too. But then the Miranda Hart is the name of the actress playing Nancy. Like her reaction to it, like just was like, that was way funnier than what that, like that is such a forced reaction, but that line is legitimately great. Like the way the reaction was filmed, like made the actual line seem less than, which is a bummer, because that was really fucking funny. I love those scenes in movies where you can tell they have to cut really fast because everyone else in the scene is like that far from breaking. One of my the Gene Hackman, I was going to make espresso in Young Frankenstein, or Michael Hitchcock slapping Bob Balaban on his bald pate in A Mighty
You mean
Wind.
Gene Wilder? You said Gene Hackman.
Gene Hackman is in Young Frankenstein as the blind man.
Okay, all right. I was just making sure, because there's a couple Genes in there.
I said the right
and
Gene.
I'll tell you, I've only seen it like
Gene.
twice, because I don't get down with that shit.
You don't like Mel Brooks. I do, so trust me on this one.
You know who I do like that we were just talking about? Our good friend Peter Serafinowicz. Am I saying that right?
Which?
Okay, so brilliant performance, and his character ending I thought was the best, because I still don't know which one he is. I still don't know, and I thought that was brilliant.
No, that was a crazy accent switch, like mid-sentence, whenever you like my Italian accent, fucking was, or a British accent, was so funny. And then I was like, wait, yeah, which one is he? I was like, I have no idea.
He's fantastic. He's fantastic in this movie, and that's another thing about this film. I think the way that it's crafted, something that I enjoy is, specifically like with his character, where if he hadn't played it the way that he played it, that it would have been a fucked up character that you didn't like.
Yeah.
But just because like he played it so silly, you can't get mad at the guy. And everybody that does something that would be offensive in this movie, it's not offensive just because the way it's played. At least it's not offensive to me.
Well, that's my thing with comedy in general. Like, that's why it's so stupid when you hear certain comedians like, oh, what, we can't say anything anymore. And it's like, no, you can say whatever you want. It's just you got to be good. Like, you got to set it up well. It's got to be delivered well. And like, as long as there's no true malice, I believe you can joke about literally anything. Ask Anthony Jeselnik. That's his whole fucking thing. And he is one of the best at it. And he is such an example. So, like, yeah, I think this movie, like, I mean, I think it only sticks out that way because, again, this movie does feel starkly 2015. But at the same time, like, yeah, as long as you fucking deliver it in a funny way and it's like not with like actual malice behind it, like you can joke about anything. And this movie does do a really good job at that.
Right. I heard Jeselnik talking on a podcast earlier. I think it was just this past week, an appearance that he had made. And he's talking about, people like, oh, we can't go after. He's like, why are you trying to go after anyone? He goes, as long as like you're open and accepting, people will know that and realize, yeah, you may be saying some fucked up shit, but like you're not attacking anybody. You're not punching down. You're just commenting on something. He goes, you have to be good to be able to do that. And not everyone is. And
I think that's why a lot of George Carlin's older stuff still holds up.
Right.
Even though it's stuff that no one could say today, no matter how they said it.
And again, it's like, and that's the thing too. It's like there's so many comedians that like misunderstand what made Carlin great. They're all like, he back in his day, you could really let it fly. And it's like Carlin wasn't great because he was saying crazy shit. He was great because he said funny shit, but he made the crazy things, super funny. That was the brilliance of him, not just the fact that he says off the wall things. And that's what
Right.
so many comedians miss the point of. So yeah, I totally agree. I think this film does it a couple times where it was like your reaction, just because of like how we are like kind of now, it's like your reaction is to go, oh wait, and then it's like, wait, no, it's okay, I can laugh at this. Like you know, when you like allow yourself to laugh at it.
Absolutely. I like Peter Serafinovich. I like him in this role. I like him in this movie. He is, I think, a really criminally underrated comedic performer. Like whenever he shows up in a comedic performance, I'm always very excited because he is very good at it. That's pretty much what he did in England, which is where he's from. And then really kind of got some comedic roles, some non. He was the Tick in the Amazon series, The Tick.
Oh, and he was so good. That show's so good. It's
That's
better
actually a
than
great casting.
Cartoon
I never
and
watched
the
it.
Patrick Warburton combined. It's so good.
It's very good. He's very good in it.
It's sad though because they killed it after 2 seasons.
Agreed. It should have lasted a lot longer.
It should have lasted longer, and it's the reason it didn't last longer is what makes it sting so much. It's the same with Jean-Claude Van Johnson, another brilliant show that only lasted 1 season, but that aired during the 2nd season of The Tick, and all of those awesome shows simply got canceled because Prime got a new boss, and he wanted to just get rid of everything and start over.
Correct.
And that makes me so mad because there was nothing wrong with that show. That show was doing good numbers. There was no reason for either of those shows to be canceled at all, except somebody wanted to be a dick.
Damn, they wanted to be a dick to the Tick. Not cool.
Wanted to be a dick to the Tick and Jean-Claude Van Damme, or Johnson, if you know about his secret identity.
And I'll say too, as far as like you know, like Peter really selling that character, and like on like the comedy thing, like again, like on the surface, it's like this character is like, oh my god, he's just there to, you know, like be annoying and like creepy or like whatever. But the thing is, again, with the way that the movie is set up, like for the first half and like everybody shitting on her the whole time, it's actually like, I found it like, even though I'm like, ew, he's like kind of annoying, I was like, it's kind of endearing that it's like, no, this guy genuinely finds her hot and attractive, and he is like totally into her, you know. And
she's
it's like
not an unattractive lady, so it makes sense that someone finds her attractive.
Exactly. So it's like, so it doesn't come off as creepy and like as just like, oh my god, he's like, you know, even though he says bosom like every other sentence, but at the same time, it's like, no, this works because it's like, no, this is fine. Like, so after everyone shitting on her the whole movie, it's like, this is finally somebody that's like, no, I'm like genuinely, I want you bad, and it's like, yeah. I'm cool with that. Like, so I was shocked that she ended up in bed with Ford at the end instead of our boy Aldo here.
Particularly when you hear the word bosom, you're like, it's gonna be Aldo, and then you pull back and it's Ford. You're like, what the fuck?
I think that I had something to say and then I forgot it.
Talking about Peter Serafinovich.
Yeah, I know. No, I think that you can quote me on this, and it's going to be very weird out of context, but he sexually harasses and assaults her in just the most wholesome way.
Yes, that's kind of what I was trying to say, but you got to the me of it, like, because he is like just being like annoying like that, even though like I do love him, I fast forwarded the untie me scene because like that scene is literally like 6 minutes, like that is a long ass scene, and I was like, oh my god, I can't with this right now, so I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna skip through this part. That was the one time I couldn't take it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, because he's like mounting her, and it's
like, what are we doing here?
The better version of that scene.
I'm not a big physical comedy guy either, so it was like a combination of just like, I was like, oh, okay, come on now. Like, this is like that one when a scene in improv isn't working, and then so somebody just gets more physical. That's what that scene was to me, and it was painful. So that's the only time I was like, all right, this is too much from like the
The better version of that scene is the scene in the airplane where she keeps like dipping the plane so that Rose Byrne gets crushed by the bodyguards. That's the better version of that. Yes. It doesn't go on too long. It's the same basic comedic premise. There's a person on top of another person, but it's done without the sex pestiness, and it doesn't go on for nearly as long. So that is, I think, the better version of that scene.
Oh yeah, totally. I want to talk about Jude Law as Bradley Fine this and kind of hitting beats, because now watching this movie, it pisses me off that Jude Law didn't get to do a Bond movie. I was like, look, he's perfect. I was like that opening scene, like, is perfect. That's a really great Bond opening.
Mhm.
And then like, I mean, but he's also perfect for this though too, to play again like a very good, because there's been multiple versions of that too, like the parody version of Bond in some version. And I think he plays it really well here, because like he is the straight man, but he does get to be like a little goofy, because he's like, the whole thing is that he is just like very aloof. Is his like whole thing is like, even though he's like a spy that has all the skills and everything, it's like he is like also like just like constantly distracted and does not see anything around him. I
Right. It's
think
like with James Bond with like the comedy dialed up like 6%.
yeah, I mean, but I mean, come on, it's like he looks so great in a suit, the accent. I mean, it really is perfect, and it just like it
Absolutely.
pisses me off that I was like, we had all this back and forth with the Bond rights, Daniel Craig not deciding if he's done or not. If Daniel Craig would have gotten his shit together and like just buckled down on however many movies I'm doing, we probably could have gotten Jude Law maybe 5 years ago as Bond. A little bit
Right.
past that now, but like in this era, 2015, like he would have been perfect. So like it's a bummer that that at least we do have this, but it's a bummer that I will just have to fantasize about Jude Law actually as James Bond.
I feel like he was one of the names that they were tossing around after Brosnan's run ended. It was like him and Clive Owen before they ultimately settled on Daniel Craig. I feel like Law was a part of that conversation.
Clive Owen would have been great too.
The reason that Clive Owen didn't want it is because he had done the basically the thing that the transporter was based on, the driver for those BMW commercials. Like there was a series of short films and he did all of those, but they have like, they would hire prominent directors. So like Ang Lee does one, John
Huh.
Woo does one, Guy Ritchie does one. But yeah, all these people doing these, and they're essentially just car commercials. So,
Hmm.
um, that's kind of the reason he didn't want to do Bond. But yeah, you've definitely got him as kind of the Bond riff. You've got Statham as kind of the new wave of the spy film, maybe even more something similar to the Craig Bond in this.
He was like he was like kind of like a combination of like Craig Bond, but then also Fast and Furious energy, like kind of that action bravado
A
as
franchise he's
well.
getting ready to join as
Oh,
a prominent
he's
character.
which speaking of fucking Fast and Furious franchise, the person he teamed up with, it's giving fucking The Rock and Sam Jackson at the beginning of the Other Guys.
There you go.
Like
Yes.
that, like that's very much what Statham's energy is giving in this. And yeah, kind of seeing him as a riff on the Craig Bond, because again, it's like Statham, he couldn't be a Bond, unfortunately,
Right.
because one thing I've learned through my Statham journey, the man has sexual chemistry with nobody.
Right.
Nary of a single female lead does he have any actual chemistry with, and I'll say this is one of the better versions. Like him with Melissa McCarthy, he actually does have sexual chemistry with her. He does not have that with any of his other female co-stars. Like I watched Parker, he's with Jennifer Lopez, nothing there.
Mm.
The Transporter movies always keep trying to make him a sexy guy. No. So it's like Statham would never be able to be Bond, unfortunately, because he doesn't have the sexual charisma to be Bond. But I
Fair.
like him being just like the version of like the super agent, like when he just like, because half of his lines are just like we were saying earlier, it's like not only stuff that he did in the movie Crank, but just like also just like things that action guys say, is the arm had been completely ripped off and I reattached it with this arm.
His arm.
It's just like, what? So many of the things are just him playing on the just like super action guy. And again, even though it's like I wanted more, but I like how he knocks himself out in the climax finale. Like he shows up and he's like, "It's me, I'm here to help," and then gets caught on the door and knocks himself out. I thought it was actually hilarious, because I was like, finally, like, this is the scene. Statham's gonna get
Yes.
unleashed upon this, this mob here, and nope, he gets taken out and doesn't even get to participate in the finale.
Right. Which is perfect. Like I remember, not to invoke a very canceled person, but I remember in the season 3 finale of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Joss Whedon asking Alexis Denisov, who had been playing this kind of really buttoned up character the whole season, like, do you want to like actually like be a badass? Do you want to sit the fight out? Like, what do you want to do? He goes, I think it'd be great if I, and this is Alexis, he goes, I want to run in and get knocked out immediately and be out for the entire fight. And he's like, done. And that's what he does. And it's perfect. It's such a perfect moment. And Statham does the exact same thing here. And again, I think it works perfectly. It's such a great moment. And it's a huge laugh because again, it's not what you're expecting from Statham.
And it's like perfect too. Cause like, again, he like, you can see it in Statham's eyes. Like he says everything so seriously, but you can see behind his eyes that he is aware and he's in on the joke. It's a very interesting thing because I mean he like it's not until that final shot whenever he's in bed with Melissa it's the only time he smiles the entire movie. Whole rest of the movie he is literally so dead ass serious. Oh my god, his delivery when he goes, all right, here's what we do. I go into the face-off machine, get a whole new face. I turn up, they never know it's me. Is so like I died. Oh my god! And then, do you have quarters? It costs 50 cents. He goes, what? I gotta pay. Oh my god, so funny. The face-off machine.
It is the humor comes from the fact that he is in a different movie than everybody else. Like he's in the serious action version of this movie, but that's not the movie everyone else is in, and so he just like keeps falling short of everything else. But he seriously is committed to being in that movie. And it is such a riff on all of his like action. He'd been playing the Transporter since 2002. Like is when he kicks off that franchise. He's been doing this for over a decade, this action stuff. So to see him like take himself a little less seriously, like, because that's not something action guys are generally known for doing. Like Willis did it, Stallone did it, Arnie got there eventually, but like it's almost a rite of passage for these guys to do like the comedic version of that. But particularly with this wave of action stars, the guys in the Fast and Furious franchise, etc., that's just not something they're willing to do, is to make themselves look silly. So to see him do that is so welcome, and honestly puts him heads and shoulders above the rest of those guys, in my opinion.
I don't know if I'd say a lot of those guys are unwilling to do that. I just don't think that anybody's really giving them the chance, because you have stuff like Be Cool with The Rock, where he plays an aspiring actor who is a bodyguard who is also gay, and it's one of the funniest characters I've ever seen.
Yeah, but that's way before he was even doing most of his action stuff, though. So he like because again, fast forward later to the Fast and Furious movies where him and Vin Diesel are writing in their contracts that they can't lose in fights, you know, shit like that. Again, in all of that, Statham was not that guy, and in like you know, he does 7, 8, and the Hobbs and Shaw movie, and he never was like, oh no, I can't take this amount of hits, like, because that's one thing, like a lot of Statham's movies, you know, he's a smaller guy and he gets the shit beat out of him in some of those movies, so it's like he's already willing to do that. So like I think it very much is a lot of action stars these days don't want to take the piss out of themselves if they want to be the main action guy. I'd say most recently, like Batista has done it a few times where he's kind of taken the piss out of himself a bit.
Well, I think which is weird that you mentioned him, because I was going to mention like John Cena. It tends to be like the wrestler guys who are already they have a background in camp, because wrestling is very campy, and you have to mix the intensity with just enough silliness to get away with any of it. And
The Rock weirdly is the exception to that rule, because again, once he started in his action persona, once he became a brand, which is something that I've talked about a lot on this podcast, about one of the reasons I dislike The Rock is because he is now a brand entity unto himself. And so he can't compromise the brand. The brand can't look weak, which means he can't look weak.
Well, I would argue that maybe we're on the cusp of that being a thing of the past, since he's doing a couple serious roles.
I hope you're right.
He's doing that UFC movie, which people say he's fantastic in, and
Happy
he's in
Brothers
Scorsese's
film.
next movie.
Okay.
Hey, hopefully he's out of kind of that little era that he was in.
And we know that's I think that's why I'm so hopeful, because I think you're right. A lot of these guys probably aren't willing to do it, but I want them to, is the thing. Because I've seen what some of these guys can do. I've seen Vin Diesel's early career. I saw the film that he wrote and directed and started himself, and it's fantastic, and he's fantastic in it. I've seen Find Me Guilty. Like, you see
You're
these
the
little
one.
these sparks of, like, fantastic actors in these guys, but once they get used to doing one thing, they just get paid so much for it.
Well,
And
so
it takes up all of their time. Like, these big budgeted, like, tentpole blockbuster movies, they take a while to make.
well, I think that's again why it works so well in this, because like as I've been going through Statham's career, it's like, you know, he has a smidge of variety. Like you can see early in his career and like up until like 2010, he would do some roles where he's trying to do like a little bit of actual acting, you know, like here and there. I mean, obviously, like even the Guy Ritchie movies that he was in, he's not the action guy in those movies, and he really doesn't become the action guy until obviously he does the Transporter movies. Then once that's done, pretty much everything after that is mostly action guy stuff. But like he's tried to, you know, actually do some stuff here and there, but at the same time, there is a lot of consistency amongst his work, especially in 2010 to now. There is a lot of these one-word title movies that are he's generic ex agent, ex soldier, ex this, like whatever,
Right.
and so many of that. And one of my favorite interviews he was doing like a radio show. I think it was like to promote the Meg or something like that. And he's just like, look, I'm not a trained actor. He was like, I was a fucking mechanic whenever I like got my like first auditions and shit like that. He's like, I'm not trained like that. He's like, I'm not good per se. Like he's like really laughing at himself. He's like, but I know what I am good at and know the things that I can do. He's like, I stay in my lane. And I was like, yeah, I appreciate that from you, Mr. Statham. You want to know why he has that confidence about him? He is a short king. His partner is at least like 4 inches taller than him, and he is so confident about it.
Good for
Good
him.
Like he is like,
Good
so
for
it's
him.
like that's the humbleness that he's rocking.
That's amazing.
I think you were saying that he only kind of knows how to do one thing, and I think most of the time people know how to harness that. But have you guys ever seen a little movie called Homefront?
I haven't gotten to that one yet. It's on my list.
I don't want to spoil it too. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I am going to say that Jason Statham plays a patriotic, homegrown, corn-fed American with a British accent.
Nice.
No, it's
Because
funny.
he really only knows how to do one thing.
No, movies. That was a Jean-Claude Van Damme thing. They would always find stupid ways to explain his accent. Like I love in the fucking one with him and Lance Hendricks, Hard Target, where they like, he's genuinely a French New Orleans person. It's like, no, he's not.
No,
Shut
he's
up. Working Man does a weird thing. I guess they do it back. Like he is also very patriotic in that, but it's like because he was a British soldier that was working with American soldiers or whatever. So they kind of explain it away in that one. But yeah, haven't gotten to Homefront yet. It's coming up.
You know who never needed to have their accents explained away? Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sean Connery. Those guys, Sean Connery is playing the most Scottish Russian submarine captain.
Yeah, totally.
The most Scottish Spaniard by way of Egypt. Like just crazy ass shit and just keeping that Scottish accent. Arnold is playing like John Smith or John Matrix is the character he plays in Cobra, or not Cobra, it's Commando. And you're just like, yeah, sure. Why not? It just because no one looked like that. Like Arnold wanted to be Superman in the Richard Donner Superman movie. Like, can you even imagine an Austrian accented Superman?
I mean,
it's so weird that some people can't do anything but their own voice. That's so weird to me. But I guess that's how it is for some people.
And Jingle All the Way tried to pass off Arnold Schwarzenegger as a Howard Langston from Minnesota.
Yes.
Sure, why not? But yeah, Statham literally always gets to keep his accent. Fun fact, I've been playing a D&D campaign with my homies. We've ongoing one campaign for 3 years. And then we just filmed our first series of Let's Plays for like a different campaign. But my character that I've been playing for 3 years, my initial intent was to do his voice, be a riff on Jason Statham. But I'm terrible at impressions. I'm like the one non-actor in our D&D group. It's not really there. Like I was supposed to have the British accent. I dropped that after a while. So really it's just me talking very softly with a little rasp, and that's Jason Statham. I've gotten better over time, but my D&D character also heavily influenced by the Stath.
Nice. What class and race do you play, if you don't mind?
For you D&D nerds out there, my guy's name is Kygo Lorenz. He is a former CIA agent, actually. He got double crossed by the Scales, the group they work for, but he's an Eladrin elf. And he is an arcane trickster and also blade singer. I'm a multi-class boy. So he's a magical assassin, magical fight assassin, but not an assassin anymore. He's trying. One of his arcs is he's trying not to kill people anymore, but does it accidentally a lot.
That's amazing.
So again, could be a Jason Statham movie as well. Yes. He very much is heavily influenced. Always wearing a suit. Only has one arm too. So just like
did he sew it back on with the other arm?
Able to put it back on.
It was able to put it back on with his other arm.
Why I just felt it in my bones that for some reason you would play Bard, but I love.
I had a bard in a previous campaign, a bard that was a werewolf. He was a gentleman thief and a werewolf, and also a bard. That was a fun character.
I love that.
I'm always a bard, but I'm the type of bard that like has a warrior or fighter best friend that I like ride on the back of. So nice. I talk the shit, and then they get hit, and it's fantastic.
You go hide behind your big guy.
Yeah, just like right on his shoulders. Whee!
I like the Claritin and Paladin classes myself, but that's...
campaigns need healers like you. There's not enough of y'all to go around. Our main campaign does not have a main healer. We have one bard that refuses to heal anybody but himself. We have no healer amongst our main group. It's actually quite hilarious. It was like we were like 10 sessions in, and we're like, wait, you have cure wounds and you have all these other cure spells? And he's like, yeah. And we're like, what the fuck have you been doing this whole time?
Wow.
So healing thyself. Physician, heal thyself. Yeah, God, this movie is despite, us talking around it, this movie is actually a lot of fun. The plot, though, completely unessential to this movie.
Very unessential. It is, yeah, there's a MacGuffin, there's a nuke, there's a person, and like and how like they even make a parody of like the fact that like who everybody's a double agent, who's working for who anymore, like that even becomes like a parody in it. So it's like, yeah, they're really not going for much in the as far as like a spy plot. I'll say I actually really like Cooper's like character arc throughout the whole thing of like she's already been good this whole time. It's just she's never gotten the chance. She's never had the confidence, and like I like a classic somebody being like, no, I am good at this shit, and like look at how capable I am, and like after being shit on again for like they really go hard on her in that first half of the movie of like how much they are shitting on her character. Like it is
too hard.
It is crazy. Like the when Rose Byrne like brings up her dress like 4 times. She's just like your shitty prom dress, and she's just like, God damn it, can you stop talking about the dress? Like like so it's like people really go hard on her. So like it is actually very satisfying whenever you see her get to be the hero. And again, Melissa McCarthy, big gal out here, moving and like doing full action set piece and stuff. Like that's really fun to see. So like I actually really liked Susan Cooper's like character arc aside from the spy plot of the movie.
Definitely. This movie does, though, rely on one of my least favorite film tropes, particularly for larger comedic actors, which is the fatty fall down trope.
Which I'd say at least they don't do it as much. I would like Ghostbusters is much more egregious about that one. I was glad that they do it a few times for sure, but I was like they didn't spam the button in this film at least.
Yeah, and I don't know why. Like I don't know. Like Feig relies on that. McCarthy relies on that. Like, and I know a lot of heavier actors tend to rely on that just because I think it's such a reliable laugh, which is so disappointing.
That's literally the entirety of the movie Tammy, and I think that's another reason I was like off the Melissa McCarthy train, because that movie is fucking awful. It's like one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and like 80% of that movie is her falling over things.
And now I agree with you that the trope of larger people taking big pratfalls it's not great, but I think in Melissa McCarthy's case, and I'm not so much defending it as kind of explaining it, is I think that she takes a lot of her physical comedy cues from Chris Farley, and I think she said as much. And so I think she's kind of a fan of that kind of comedy, which I'm not going to take that away from her. Like, I get it that it's not the highest form of comedy, but also I think I respect it a little more just because I know where it's coming from when it comes to her, you know.
Which, I mean, that's fair. If it's something that she wants to do, that's fine. It never sits well with me. I think that's one of the things fair. I liked about Belushi, is that Belushi he'd start to fall and then he'd turn it into something impressive, like a backflip, or like he had such a great physical presence. You'd think he's about to do Fatty Fall Down, and then it's, no, big guy does a backflip and it's fucking incredible. And you're
of course, he was on so much cocaine, he couldn't fall down.
I mean, sure.
Try to keep that guy on the ground, man. You can't. He's just bouncing around, this guy.
I guess the closest he gets to staying on the ground is when he's doing his Joe Cocker impression and just kind of writhing with his back arched.
Flailing, yes.
So good. So fucking good. But yeah, I again, it doesn't rely on it too much here. The most egregious example is when she gets on the motorcycle, drives a little bit, and it immediately falls over. And you're just like, okay. Like, really? We don't need that. But yeah.
It'd be that way though. It'd be that way.
Thoughts are valid, like Steven.
Again, this movie being peak 2015, it was so interesting because like 2015, I mean, this is 10 years ago at this point now, which is like not a long time, but is kind of a long time, like when you think of stuff. So it was like, it's always interesting when you hear certain things get dated in movies. And it was like, oh yeah, there was like at one point she's like, I'm not tracking on my phone, I'm playing Candy Crush. And I was like, oh my God, this was peak Candy Crush time. Was only 10 years ago. Like, that's kind of crazy. But then also I'm like, Candy Crush has been reigning for 10 years and they are like the beginning of like in-app purchases that now have ruined everything, so it's like crazy. So like when you hear certain things get mentioned to like date certain stuff, I was like, I was like, yeah, 2015. Wow.
I was just watching the new Netflix show. I think it was the Netflix show, The Four Seasons, and they reference I think they reference Farmville, and I'm like, that is a stale reference. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I think that was the movie I was watching where that was a plot point, and I'm just like, ooh, that's no, thank you, not in the year of our Lord 2025. No. It may have been another show. I've watched a lot of stuff this past week, so I can't rightly comment. But yeah, again, just kind of felt out of place. But yeah, this movie generally keeps it pretty fresh for 2015. This is McCarthy, I think, about halfway through her Feig run. Is that right? Because she does Bridesmaids and The Heat. Tammy's not his. He does Spy and Ghostbusters.
And then she does Ghostbusters. And then
I think that's the last thing she's done with him up to this point.
Yes. I had to double check to make sure Thunder Force wasn't him, and thank goodness that was not him.
No, but I think Feig is like switched off back over to the Anna Kendrick, Blake Lively pairing now.
Well, yeah,
Um,
well, that's only getting one sequel from that because apparently I haven't watched it yet, but apparently one, it's not great, but then also it was so funny watching their very sparse press appearances and like Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively like obviously hating each other now. So that duo is not going anywhere with Feig anymore. So we'll see what he goes on to next.
yeah, because after Ghostbusters and It's Simple Favor, Last Christmas, which I didn't see, but oof, something called School for Good and Evil, something called
Oh, that was
Jackpot.
the Netflix one. It's like a Netflix series of like training like fantasy heroes and villains or some shit.
Looks like a future episode of the Disenfranchised podcast is what it looks like.
Ooh, maybe.
And then something called Jackpot, which that's John Cena and Aquafina. Oh, that's that movie
Yes.
with the lottery where she like wins it and is like everyone's trying to kill her.
Oh.
Yeah, that was heavily advertised for a couple days.
Yeah,
Some months ago.
like most things that come on to the streaming platforms, which seems to be where people love dumping comedies these days.
Well, he's also got a psychological thriller, The Housemaid, coming out in December with Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried.
My
That's
partner
fun.
read the book that was based on, and that book is wild. So
Ooh,
I'm actually
okay.
kind of looking forward to seeing that one because I can pretty much guarantee we're going to see that one because she actually read the whole series. So if that movie doesn't do well, future episode of the Disenfranchised podcast.
Nice.
You know, the job security that Hollywood continues to provide this podcast is just very reassuring.
Yes.
Truly,
Yes,
we
indeed.
love to see it. We've been riffing on this for about an hour now. Any other major things to say about Spy?
Oh, I mean, yeah, good, solid movie. I would say as far as like franchises go, yeah, I totally would have taken a sequel to this. I would have been fine with it.
Yeah,
I think there's enough material that they could have made something even more like specific, like we were kind of talking about. Like I think they could have gotten to that point in a sequel. But unfortunately, because I know we'll get to the box office, but yeah, I mean, yeah, solidly enjoyable film. Again, like I just really carried by the strength of the cast for real. Like I mean,
definitely.
so much of it. But I also see that Paul Feig, like I can see he's a fan of the spy genre. Like he's not flippant about it. Like you can tell he like has reverence and like takes it seriously. There's actually some pretty decent action set pieces scattered throughout as well that I was actually rather impressed with. I was like, okay, Paul. I was like, you got something in there.
The fight scene in the kitchen was probably my favorite with the
Yeah,
frying pan and the
the fight
knives.
scene in the kitchen was
was
really
really
fun.
good.
Again, that like James Bond opening I thought was really great. Like, there's a few actually like really solid action set pieces in here. So I was like, I wouldn't mind him staying in that sandbox. Like him be like if we're not getting straight comedies anymore, then like go do some more action comedies. Like I could see him in playing around that sandbox some more.
Absolutely. And I feel like this movie may have like burned him out on that, like, or the lack of solid response may have burned him out on that. In terms of the lack of specificity, I just had a thought as you were saying that. I feel like part of that is that Melissa McCarthy doesn't have a dedicated comedy persona in the same way that someone like Mike Myers can and has. Like he's got that very goofy kind of sense of humor. I don't know because it's part of the comedy is this actor in this situation equals comedy. And so I think if she had more specificity in the role in the character, I feel like the movie might have been a
Well,
little more
yeah,
focused.
because with her thing is she's not a joke generator. She's a reactor mainly. Like that's
Right.
where her comedy mainly comes in, is her reacting to other people's saying things to her, and like that's where like I mean, how again, like as much as I love her, and but like again, talk about certain things going on too long. Like a lot of her jokes in this movie are her just literally repeating what somebody else said and then like adding something to it.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, so yeah, she's not a joke generator like a Mike Myers is to be able to be steadily, putting out, jokes herself versus again having to react to everybody. So yeah, I think that's where her like non-specific comedy style comes in.
And I think Feig is also relatively non-specific as well, which also kind of hurts a little bit.
Speaking of Melissa McCarthy and SNL, because you said Mike Myers, she is a fantastic host. She's one of those hosts that every time she hosts, you think, yeah, this person would fit right in with, could just be a cast member easily.
She's one of those people
Very,
that
very
surprises
easily.
me that she wasn't. Like she
Right.
has always kind of
Absolutely.
given me that vibe of like, oh, past SNL alum, but I
That's
didn't
why she's
realize
such
she
a
wasn't.
great host. She did play Sean Spicer there for a while, so she was like a little bit of a guest star, like sort of part of the cast.
Okay, maybe that's what I was thinking.
In the same
In
way
a
that
way-
like Alec Baldwin was. During
Yeah,
that
or
time.
like Dana Carvey and Andy Samberg at the beginning of this season.
Right.
And
Maya Rudolph.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lest we forget. Actually, Dana Carvey stuck around a little longer than Mike Myers now is back doing the Elon Musk thing. So
he actually played himself
Yay.
in a sketch this week in the season finale, which strangely enough was probably one of the best episodes of the season, which isn't saying much. Sorry, but it isn't. Like, I still love you, SNL, but this season was just kind of meh. But it was one of the best episodes of the season, but it also had the worst sketch I've ever seen in my life, which was the 10-to-1 sketch. Watch the episode, and that last sketch is just... I've never seen anything that bad on live television. It was just so bad. So bad.
Now
And it was
I
one of
really
those
wanna
where
watch
like
it.
it was one of those where like they were all breaking too, and like they were inexplicably like eating things, which was supposed to be funny. Crickets. Crickets.
Sometimes
So bad.
Sometimes you break when
man.
you're not getting the laughs you think you should be.
Well, no, that's the worst part about it is that they were having so much fun, and you could tell that they were like, okay, this is the formula. It's going to kill because we're doing all the things that always kill.
Right.
But I think the fact that they trusted in the fact that all that stuff was going to kill, instead of writing a good sketch, it's so bad. The worst sketch I've ever seen in my life. Beware. Take care. Pull the strings.
And brush your hair.
Yes, and scene. Thank you.
There
Gentlemen,
it is.
thank you.
We did it, everybody.
done.
That is it. So this movie comes out almost 10 years ago, like today, like June 5th, this movie comes out.
Yeah.
This episode will come out on May 22nd. So like literally 2 weeks before the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, it's perfect. You get that SEO bump.
There it is.
Dude, yeah.
This movie opens at number 1 for the week of June 5th to $29.1 million
Nice.
on its way to a total domestic box office of 111 million rounding up. It gets another 123 million internationally for a grand total of $234 million worldwide off of a production budget of $65 million.
That's pretty okay.
Not a bad return on investment,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
A little over half or a little over double what you set out to do. That's not bad. But not apparently enough for us to get the further adventures of Susan Cooper Super Spy.
That's too bad.
The rest of the top 10, speaking of Dwayne The Rock Johnson, at number 2,
of course he's in there.
We have San Andreas.
Yes. The Rock punches an earthquake. Good times.
Exactly. I will say that movie also has one of my all-time favorites, Carla Gugino. Yes, please and thank you. And Insidious Chapter 3 in at number 3, opening this week to 22.7 million. In fourth place, speaking of yawn, in fourth place, opening this week to 10.2 million. Entourage the movie.
Triple yawn.
And pivoting hard back from that yawn in fifth place in its fourth weekend, down from number 4 the week before, but already having grossed $131 million is Mad Max: Fury Road.
Ah, yes.
Pivoting. Did you mean pivoting from Entourage?
No,
Two. Okay, I was just making sure. All right.
I sure didn't mean that at all.
I couldn't let it go. I was just thinking of Jeremy Piven.
Really wish you had.
Couldn't let it go.
Rounding out the top 10, we've got Pitch Perfect 2 at number 6. Speaking of Anna Kendrick.
Cool.
Tomorrowland in number 7, future episode of this podcast. I liked
that movie. I can't wait to cover that movie because I liked it. It was a little heavy-handed in its message. But
really? A Brad Bird film is heavy-handed?
But it was really, really good. I liked it a lot. I can't wait to watch it again because maybe I don't like it anymore. Who knows?
Speaking of heavy-handed, in 8th place, we have Avengers: Age of Ultron at number 8. Whedon putting a lot of mustard on that one.
Hey, I defend that one. I think it's still better than half of the MCU stuff, especially of the past 5 years or so. Like I'm a big Ultron defender. I enjoy that. I think Age of Ultron is better than the 2012's Avenger, personally. Personally.
DeVaughn, you just always coming in with the hot takes, and I fucking love it. Well done, sir. You never disappoint, ever.
I appreciate it.
You're the man, dude. I love you. In 9th place, the Cameron Crowe film Aloha, wherein Emma
famous Asian Stone? Emma Stone,
right, playing
famous Hawaiian Asian Emma Stone, yeah.
And finally, in 10th place, future episode of this podcast, the Poltergeist remake with Sam Rockwell.
I always forget that movie happened. Even
does he dance in it? Do you think he dances in it? He dances. It's in his contract, right? He gets to dance in every movie.
He should. And then this one, I'm throwing this one in just for you, Tucker. At number 11, opening this week is Love and Mercy.
Oh, I liked that one.
Oh,
yeah. With John Cusack and Paul Dano, and they both. Okay, so John Cusack to me is another one of those actors. Even though you can put him in any role, he pretty much plays
is John Cusack
as the same guy.
Yeah,
but Love and Mercy, I never expected that from John Cusack. He really steps outside of himself and becomes Brian Wilson, and it's
I love seeing two actors play one character and like how they like kind of come together, and like I think they did a really good job, not only like for the casting but like the performances actually like feel. I'm like, yeah, no, that's totally believable that Paul Dano would age into John Cusack. I was like, I believe that
guy.
Yeah, I was like, I believe that.
And in fact, the more Paul Dano ages and doesn't look like John Cusack, the more disappointed I get.
That is quite true. Paul Dano still looks exactly the same.
Right. He has not changed at all.
Nope.
The tomatometer score for Spy is a 95% certified fresh.
I remember people really enjoyed this when it came out. I joined Letterboxd in 2015. So I'm coming up on like my 10-year anniversary of letterboxing, and I remember this being a favorite. So this was also when I was like in a bunch of like movie discussion Facebook groups, and people really went to bat for this one. I remember when it came out that people like enjoyed it. So that Rotten Tomato score actually doesn't surprise me.
Right on. The critics' consensus, simultaneously broad and progressive. Spy offers further proof that Melissa McCarthy and writer-director Paul Feig bring out the best in one another and delivers scores of belly laughs along the way. The Metascore on this one, a 75 based on 40 critic reviews, generally favorable reviews.
Man.
And Letterboxd is not loading on my computer, so I'm going to load it on my phone here. Bear with me a moment.
Should I guess while you do that?
Please do.
Okay. I don't know. Comedies are hard in Letterboxd. I'm gonna say this. I feel like this is gonna be a safe one. 3.6 and 4.0 is my range.
I'll go. I'm not even gonna. I'm gonna say this is a 3.5.
You're both a little high. It's a 3.2.
Oh,
really?
That's actually lower than I expected. Huh?
Yeah.
Huh.
Both went a little high. It is. Particularly because most of the people that I am friends with on Letterboxd really enjoyed this movie. DeVaughn, what are you giving Spy out of 5 stars?
I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I'll give it a generous 3.5. It's kind of more in between a 3 and a 3.5. It's not quite low enough to be a 3, but it's not quite what I would typically give a 3.5 to. So a 3.25 is what I'm giving this one. Like, it's, it's good. Like, I even though it is lengthy for a comedy,
Right.
I still for the most part was enjoying myself. And again, I would disagree with that Rotten Tomatoes quote. I didn't have nary a belly laugh in this, but I had a lot of strong chuckles.
Right.
Is a consistent chuckler. That's what this movie is for me. Like a good, just like I like that. That was a good one.
Same. Yeah.
Things like that. So wasn't breaking the bank for me, but I'll rewatch this at some point. I'll throw it back on and check it out again. So yeah, I'm going 3.25.
Let me ask you this, DeVaughn. How does this rank overall on your Statham ranking so far?
So I'm gonna eventually, once I finish this, I'm gonna have to do 2 lists because it's that classic case of like, do I rank it by the movie or do I rank it by the person and their quality? Because again, he's not in this movie a ton. I truly thought he was gonna be in it more. So this one makes a tougher case even to where I put it on the list, and it's kind of the reason I'm gonna have to make 2 lists, because as far as like Jason Statham performances, I mean, from what I've watched, top 5, I'd say. Like, this is a really strong comedic performance from him, and it's really fun. But again, just since he doesn't have the screen time and everything, it's not his movie. It's not a Jason Statham movie, so it'll probably be somewhere as I'm looking at this list. It looks like it's it'll be just outside the top 10. This will probably be at like number 12 as far as his movies go.
Respectable though, given like, and what are some of the big, I know you had said on Bluesky the other day you had been saving this one, but we siren songed you to it a little early.
I was going to save this one towards the end because I know that this was a pretty popular one, so I was going to save it, but this is again nice midway point as I've hit. Obviously one, if y'all haven't seen Wrath of Man, fucking watch Wrath of Man. It's another Guy Ritchie one, but it's like a very restrained Guy Ritchie, and it's a really great heist revenge movie. And Jason Statham again does some of his best actual like acting in that movie, but also some really great action scenes in that. So Wrath of Man, check that one out. It was again, I think it like came out like it was the 2021 movie. That's why nobody saw it.
That's why. That explains a lot, actually.
It slipped through the cracks, and I think people should go and check it out because it's actually like really, really good. And so that's a really good one. I just watched Safe the other day. That's one of the gems that I found. I was like, this was actually pretty fun. And he gets to do a bit of actual acting in it. Enjoyed that. And then if I had to throw out one more, unfortunately, Working Man is pretty bad. But also like painfully bad. Like the second half of the movie is so bad that we were actually like losing our minds in the theater, cracking up.
No.
So it's a fun watch with friends, but it is not a good movie, unfortunately. This one is like a very weird one that I enjoyed because unfortunately Jason Statham hasn't really done much horror. But he did this movie called 13. And it's this weird like little death games movie. Oh my god, and it has 50 Cent in it. I totally forgot that 50 Cent is in this movie. So it's this movie called 13 where this underground Russian roulette game is happening with all these people. And there's participants, and then the participants have their handlers that like field the bets and stuff, because this is a rich people watching people play Russian roulette kind of deal. Right. And Jason Statham, he plays one of the handlers. It's not an action guy role. This is him being like a serious crime guy, and he's actually, because in most of his movies, Jason Statham is a good guy mostly. Like he's maybe a flawed, rugged guy, but he's always a good guy in his movies. Right. He is like manipulating his special needs brother in this roulette game, and I'm like, oh shit, he's a piece of shit in this movie. But he wears a funny hat. Jason Statham is not a hat guy, but movies insist on putting hats on him for some reason, and it always looks really funny. So 13 is a weird little death games kind of style movie. It has Michael Shannon yelling at the entire movie. As Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rourke's in it. And 50 Cent plays his handler in it, and 50 Cent actually really good in that movie. So check
Okay.
out 13. That's like my like real good, like, oh, this is a real small hidden gem that like nobody's heard of that people should check out.
Right on. And what are some of the big ones that you still have left to see?
Oh, I haven't started the Expendables series yet. So still have to get to that one. Jason Statham has a lot of really great character names. I'm excited to meet Lee Christmas in that one.
Yes.
So haven't gotten to that one yet. Haven't watched Ghosts of Mars, the John Carpenter movie. Haven't gotten to that one yet. And then and haven't gotten to I haven't seen The Bank Job. That's one that everybody keeps asking if I've watched yet.
Right on. That was around the time when we were just obsessed with robbing banks for some reason as a society.
Jason Statham does a lot of heist movies. As I've been going through his filmography, about a fourth of his movies are heist movies.
See our previous episode on The Italian Job. The 2003 Italian Job.
Great movie. Great movie.
Yeah, very fun. And Statham's really fun in it too. Tucker, out of 5 stars, how many are you giving to Spy?
I'm going to give it 3.
Okay.
I feel the exact same way as DeVaughn, but I feel like I can only give it a 3 just because, like I say, the next time I watch it, I will again be just as surprised at everything. The only thing I remembered from the first time I watched it is that Jude Law wasn't dead.
Okay.
I remember he comes back at the end, but I couldn't remember like if he was a bad guy or like what the circumstances of that were, but I do remember that he wasn't actually dead.
That one got me. I was not expecting it. Should have been, but was not. Yeah.
Hopefully that's all I remember for the next time too. Because I don't know. There is a bit of a merit to being a forgettable movie because if you're good enough, every time you watch it, it's a surprise, I guess.
Yeah. And this one is fun enough that even though it's kind of forgettable, you're going to have a good time if you go back to it. So
I could watch it every 5 or 10 years for sure.
Yeah, this one got a 3.5 from me. And
Nice.
I think I've kind of fallen into a similar boat as DeVaughn, but I gave it the little extra bump just because of Statham, honestly. Like, I think Statham gives it the little extra push over the hump for me because he's just doing like so much heavy lifting.
Paul Feig got him to dance on his knees in a scene with Melissa McCarthy. Like again, if he's not down for anything, who else is?
Exactly.
So he does give it that little extra sauce to it.
It's so nice to see one of these guys not take himself seriously.
I'd love to see a blooper reel of this movie.
Oh yeah, I was actually upset that there wasn't a blooper reel. Like I held out through the credits thinking there would be a blooper reel, and there wasn't. I was kind of upset by that.
Well, and that was it sucks because
blooper reels.
Because the end credit stinger is when Jason Statham breaks, and so that's like you get that, and you're like, oh, now I got to see that blooper reel. I gotta fucking see that blooper reel. Because just to see him break was fantastic. To see that man smile at all is
my goal on set is to make him break as many times as I can. Like that would have been my sole mission making that movie.
You have to pay DeVaughn. He's there to make Jason Statham break.
That's it. I just sent you guys the YouTube link to the 11-minute gag reel that they have on.
Oh yes.
YouTube.
There we go.
So there you go. That's for you guys. I'll put it in the show notes if I remember. But that is our episode on 2015's Spy. DeVaughn, thank you so much for being here and for sharing your year of the Stath with us. If we get to any other Statham movies between now and the end of the year, you're on, because there are definitely some other ones that we could cover. I think Operation Gare was one of the most recent ones. Is that what?
I haven't gotten to that one. Operation Fortune, Rue de Gare.
That's it. Yeah. That's
a movie title for you.
Right. You can always tell a movie that's trying for it to become a franchise because they'll just put a colon and then a subtitle. Yep. That's a sure.
There's going to be multiple Operation Fortunes, and there were not.
Right. And I was going to say, I've heard the Beekeeper. They're angling for
Beekeeper does have a sequel coming. That's already happening, and the Beekeeper sequel is going to be an upgrade because Timo's doing it. Is fucking doing that one. So I'm very excited for the Beekeeper 2.
Okay, right on. Well, we'll go ahead.
You know what I'm waiting on is Into the Statham verse. Like, bring me a movie where like all of his characters, even the ones that nobody remembers, just kind of like meet and have to fight some
Well,
huge
see, they
evil.
should have did a sequel to the one where it's Jason Statham's character and him rounding up all of his alternative versions.
Oh yes.
Uh,
Oh gosh, that'd be
movie
so
not great.
fantastic.
That movie is not great, but it does have the best new metal soundtrack that there could be for a movie.
believe that.
It has some really great needle drops in that movie.
Nice. Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Well, right. Well, we'll definitely get you back for Operation Fortune, if nothing else. And of course, Hobbs and Shaw. Whenever a new Fast and Furious film comes out, we'll get you back for that one.
Oh, I gotta watch 2 hours and 40 minutes of that movie. Jeez. That talk about, oh man, that movie. But yes, thank you. I hope I gave a few of your listeners a Stath infection, and hopefully you guys go on this journey yourselves. I saw that. I can't take credit for that one. So, shout out Paul Lay on Bluesky. I give him credit for coming up with that one, but I love
It's a good one.
that title as well.
That's a very good one. DeVaughn, where can we listen to your other shows? Tell us what's coming up on Spectre Cinema, Tainted Love, and what we're doing right now on Pod the Pendulum, because that's all you, buddy.
Yes, you can find me at all the usual places at _Daddy Disco. That's on Bluesky, Instagram, and Letterboxd, where you can also find my Year of the Stath list and viewings throughout the year. You can hear Spectre Cinema Club, new episodes every Tuesday with my boy Garrett McDowell. We are in the middle of movies centered around scores, soundtracks, and sound design. So we just did an episode with Brian Kuiper from Pod and Pendulum on The Changeling. And we'll be closing out the month with Sinister. And
hell yeah.
One of my all-time faves for my birthday. And then you can hear Tainted Love every other Wednesday with my girl Zoba with a shotgun. We just dropped an episode on Bones It All, and the new one when this comes out will be Crash, our horniest episode yet, because for one of the horniest movies ever made. God, that movie is so horny. I love
horny.
It. So horny. And then you can hear me.
One, right?
Yes, that one, not the Oscar best winner, which geez Louise, how'd that happen? But and then
very well, did it? That Oscar win didn't age very well.
No, not at all.
It
didn't even age when it first came out. Like
Jack Nicholson's reaction on reading the winner was wow.
Oh man, that was a good one. Good reaction, so good. Not the movie. Right. Good reaction. Yes. And then over on Pod and Pendulum, also for my birth month, we are into my series pick, which is the Wishmaster series. 4 of them. We're hanging out with the Djinn, and it is a fun time. I love that little rascal.
You
so
do
many cameos in that first one.
Boy. Oh yeah, that's the who's who of horror icons in that first movie. Yeah. And so so get in on the action over there. Thank you boys for having me. Excited for whatever is next. I think next up will be like one of my other alternative superhero movies. I know we have a couple more of those to get to in DeVaughn's corner.
Correct. We got you coming up for both Chronicle and Jumper. So I'm gonna try to fit one of those on the schedule for later this year for sure.
Oh yes.
It may be a few months, but we're gonna get you back for sure. You and I actually may not be living that far from each other.
Yeah, that'll probably be the time to do it. Yeah.
Right on. And then this has been the Disenfranchised Podcast. You can find us on Bluesky, YouTube, and Letterboxd at DisenfranchPod. Shoot us an email, disenfranchpod@gmail.com. Let us know how we're doing or suggest a failed franchise starter that you would like to see us cover. You can also, God, what else do we do? We've got a Patreon, patreon.com/disenfranchpod. For $5 a month. You get access to so much content, including the latest episode of What Are We Watching? And a very special Disenfranchised at the Movies, where Tucker and friend of the show, past and future guest, Evan Jimmy Wilson, talk about the Jeremy Strong, Sebastian Stan film, The Apprentice, for a good long while. That's definitely worth your time and your $5. Or just don't pay us anything and join the official conversation of the Disenfranchised Podcast. Weekly episodes dropping to that pod feed as well. And you get to comment and talk with Tucker and I, which is always really the gift that keeps on giving. It truly is. I'm your host, Stephen Foxworthy. You can find me on Bluesky and Letterboxd at Chewy Walrus. Brett is not on social media. He's not here. Don't find him. Tucker, where can we find you, though, should we be so inclined?
Well, I'm producing this new podcast, Steven. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Tell me about it.
It's very narrowly focused on one subject. It's called Wells University, and it's hosted by my good friend Stephen Foxworthy, and also
loser?
Yeah, that idiot, and and friend of the podcast, Hope, who just got married, and I don't remember what her new last name is.
Stow.
There you go. Yes, and it's
Hope
good.
Stow, formerly Lickner.
The second episode will be dropping 2 days before this episode drops. We did put the first episode for free on Patreon. So if you go to our Patreon to listen to our main feed episodes to be part of the conversation, it's there for you to listen to if you want to, give it a try.
And episode 2 is focused on the history of the Wells family prior to the birth of Orson. So if you just really want to know that guy's background, that's the episode for you.
I'm sure it's very interesting. I haven't edited it yet, but I have about 2 days to do that. So
you do.
I'm going to do that. So I might do that. I might do that tonight at work.
Okay. I won't tell.
Yeah, don't tell anybody that that's what I do at work is edit podcasts.
I'm getting paid to do something else. And no one else.
Yes. But you can still find me on Instagram and on YouTube at Ice909. That's ICENINE, the number 0 and the number 9. Also, Tuck Mugs still exists, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool that it still exists. Tuck_mugs on Instagram, and that's it, you guys.
That's it. That's all you got.
That's all of it. Yeah.
Following Tuck Mugs now.
There you go,
dude. Yeah.
That is Tucker's labor of love.
It truly is. I'm thinking of bringing it back to Instagram, actually, because I've done some soul searching, and I might be able to hand wave like how much I'm actually part of that machine. Yeah.
There you go.
So,
and that is our episode on Spy. So this has been the Disenfranchised Podcast for my co-host Tucker, the absent Brett Wright, and the very special guest, Mr. DeVaughn Taylor. Until next time, you know what, you guys, you're such a loud kisser. You're such loud kissers. It's gross. It's unappealing. You look like some old toothless woman sucking jelly out of a donut. And no, thank you.